like boobies. You like boobies. Vicky likes boobies.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Now, are there any damn questions?
Have you any idea what the street value of this mountain is?
This is a nice fish, you know? Big fucking eyes, but a nice fucking fish.
For the marks in attendance, and the poors listening for free at home, prepare yourselves for the greatest wrestling podcast on the interwebs. Nerdities presents to you Wrestling with Ourselves, home of the internet and podcast trios champions of the world. I am 1/3 of those champions, the alpha of alphas, the lord and master of the universe. I am Justin, as always joined by my co-host, my hetero life mate, the god of the dad bod, the king of chaos himself,
Kyle.
rounding out our trio, making us a strong threesome. He is the squishiest of the squish lords,
I'm not.
the Van Damme of the body slam, the saint of the cynics.
Vin, Stone Cold, the Silverback Gorilla, Steve Austin.
And now, bend the knee. As the greatest mouth in all. So you and Kyle, you and Kyle just went in all.
That happens a lot.
In all of wrestling
Probably
management.
a lot more than you realize, Justin.
I usually don't catch it, but you two are like under each other today. You're not on opposite ends of the screen.
Who's on top?
On my screen.
Is my mouth there too, under him?
Mike's on top.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not real.
it's real. I could take
Actually,
a
if he
screenshot.
didn't want to get crushed, probably maybe.
Yeah.
Probably safer for him.
He hails from parts well known. He is the mouth of the East, God's favorite atheist.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah. Prepares to die. Mike.
Very
He had my
nice.
mouth.
And the $1 million mensch.
Joe.
There you go, buddy.
He needs a longer intro.
I can work on it, but it's all just going to sound incredibly racist.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
What happened to the boy? I like the boy.
The young boy?
Young boy.
Because Kyle was offended that I kept calling him the young boy.
Yeah, but, I mean,
Call him like
now...
a young lion at least, or something.
Well, here's the thing.
Young boy.
He's older
If
than
his
you.
own camera mistook him for a 12-year-old boy...
13.
Okay, you know what, Vin? I don't say this often to you, but you make a valid point.
well, the thing is, I do make valid points. The problem is your recognition
Here we go.
with your blinders
just-
on.
Just
that's
take the
problem.
compliment. Just take the compliment.
Take the compliment. Well,
He was extending an olive basket.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
just spit in my face.
some people say, quibble, you're ahead, but the thing is, I'm no quitter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're never ahead.
Oh,
Except in Yu-Gi-Oh matches when he's
I
getting
don't
his ass
have a
whipped.
head.
Except for when he wins Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments.
Allegedly.
Because he did that.
2005,
When I wasn't there.
2004 champion. It was a Midsummer's Eve. Very hot that day at the big stop, backstop. Thank you.
Shortstop?
The piggy bank.
The piggy bank. One of those things. I know there's a pig on the emblem. Anyway, it's no here nor there. Of the five of us, one of us is champion.
It's only because the two of us weren't there.
The rest are you guys.
Kevin Nash had some things to say about LA Knight the other day.
Oh, that's right, wrestling.
Yes. Quote, "Am I the only one that sees an absolute ripoff of The Rock? To the point where he cut the promo on fucking Logan Paul or whatever the fuck his name is. He said, yeah, stick it. The only thing he didn't do was turn that motherfucker sideways. What? Does everybody have amnesia? There's nothing original." And this snowballed into a thing all over the fucking internet. With
Well, so I kind of wish that the other three guys watched more wrestling so they knew more about LA Knight.
Because obviously they all know about The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, then they know pretty much everything about LA Knight.
That's not true.
He wears.
Is he really a carbon copy?
He wears the vest like Austin / Dwayne did for a bit. His head looks like The Rock's head. Actually, I saw he did a side profile interview today. It was on the internet. I looked real hard, and I realized that he looks like the adult version of Phineas from Phineas and Ferb. Same fake face. I know in the cartoon he's got a triangle-shaped head, but he's got one of those like crystal skull things going on. He looks almost xenomorphic. Maybe he is.
I'm looking at a few pictures of him. He does, when you squint, it's got a bit of an Austin thing when he's up on the ropes, peacocking.
Yeah, he kind of just like mirrored the way the two of them would like enter the ring and pose.
So I have a thing about this, kind of, because I mean, he was asked about this, like, so CVV asked him about this, obviously, right? Yeah, you other guys might not know who Chris Van Vliet is, but he interviews a lot of celebrities, but specifically, he interviews a lot of wrestlers, and he asked LA Knight about the comparisons. And LA Knight's response was basically a very similar response to like the Carlos Garcia response when it came to stealing jokes. It was basically like, oh, I grew up watching and idolizing those guys. So like growing up, I mimicked a lot of stuff they did just in everyday life because I idolized them. And he said like, probably some of the stuff I do now stuck from like when I was a kid trying to mimic them. You know what I mean? So, and I could kind of see that argument because growing up, there's a lot of things that I know at least Justin and I say, and everybody throws out different, like between the five of us, just between like Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and Macho Man, like there's enough shit that we say on a semi-regular basis that came just from those three guys.
Sure, but you're not creating a character. You're not basing your persona on those things.
I carry around little creamers in my pocket just in case someone asks me how well I plan on performing in certain things, and I take it out of my pocket and I let them know. Cream rises to the top. I throw it away and I let them know I'm that cream. So I understand.
You toss the creamer, like you need to have that many on you that like you go through the whole bit where you don't just put back in your pocket. You pull multiples out.
You gotta discard it for the next one. You don't want sour milk in your pocket.
That's good.
You know, it's funny that you do that with the cream because I always used to keep a toothpick in my pocket.
Ew.
For anybody that really pissed me off, I just flick it right in their face.
It's true.
That's good.
And treat them like the bad guy. Yeah. I will spit out my gum if I'm chewing it and then try and swat it away.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect?
Yeah, it's Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, that was good. But whatchamacallit, I feel like that's kind of the game with wrestling, though, like gimmicks that work. Because I was talking to my dad about Ric Flair many moons ago, and he's like, he wasn't the first guy to say woo. He wasn't even the first Nature Boy.
He wasn't the first guy to wear the
So, like, does Kevin Nash have a gripe, or is he just stating the obvious?
I think it's the fact that no one's really called him out on the shit yet. It's like, if you've seen it, it's pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Does he do the strutting back and forth during his promos?
A little bit.
Does he stop and take it in and do the head roll?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought Randy Orton did that. I thought Randy Orton had a little bit of the Rock in on the stuff that he did.
I mean, Orton, a lot of his shit comes from his father. Which, of course. But that's understandable. That's his dad. That's their legacy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not... Look, I'm not so much one way or the other on this thing, but it's kind of obvious. Like, you look at it and you're like, wow, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I saw it more as Stone Cold, but a lot of people pointed out the fact that his voice sounds like The Rock, but his cadence of speaking is, I think, a lot more like Stone Cold.
It really is like the blending of the two characters.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, to pull back the curtain a little bit, Justin and I touched on this topic a little bit over the weekend when the statement came out. Not over the weekend, just earlier, I guess because today is Wednesday, so.
Yeah, Monday.
But whatever. And I told you, and I'll tell the guys the same thing, my bigger problem with him is not even that he's taken stuff from other wrestlers in the past. My bigger problem with him is that his current gimmick is not a gimmick that's new to the LA Knight character.
Yeah.
Like his cadence of speech, his tone of speech, his mannerisms, and even his go-home lines are... I mean, I don't know about the yeah that he throws at the end of everything.
Because it's just like, what?
Yeah, but pretty much every other thing that he says, like, that's not an insult, that's just a fact of life. Or, what's the other one that he says a lot?
And that's the bottom line.
No, but he has, but those things that he did those things in Impact as Eli Drake under a different name. And then I think he was also Eli Drake in NXT, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing before he became Max Dupree.
Well,
he was Eli Drake doing the same stuff that he did in Impact.
No, he was LA Knight when he debuted in NXT. It's the Eli Drake character. They just did the name change because, Vince doesn't like people coming in with their own names unless, like, you're AJ Styles.
So he was Eli Drake in Impact with the same personality, came over as LA Knight in NXT with the same personality, changed to Max Dupree, which is a completely different character that sucked, and then he went back to what worked for him as LA Knight?
Yes.
Yeah. I still have a bigger problem with that.
Also, LA Knight is one of the worst fucking wrestling names in the history of wrestling.
It does make you want to buy cues.
Okay. Is it... Let's for real quick. So we have The Rock.
Yes.
Right? Which is an iconic name now, but when you think about when he was first starting off, The Rock.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You have Roman Reigns.
Yes.
You have Braun Breaker.
That's another dumb one.
So Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker, and Rick Boogs are all still on the roster.
I love Boogs, but I'm mad that they changed it and shortened it from what he was in NXT. Because it was Bugenhagen. And
really?
Yes. And fuck you, because that might be the best name in all of wrestling history.
Is that his real name?
Yes.
Rick Bugenhagen?
I can understand why Vince did his Vince thing. Oh, we can't let him have his own name be up there and become big, ever. So let's create a character off of it that I can own. Vince owns Boogs.
Yes.
What do you mean, like Michael Sean Hickenbottom?
Exactly. But yeah.
LA Knight's not even from LA.
Thank you. It's L period A period Knight. Knight.
I think he's from
he's from Maryland.
I was gonna say Ohio.
Well, it says after high school he moved to Cincinnati. Yeah,
there you go.
But he's from Maryland.
Yeah,
definitely Maryland.
I remember hearing a thing that he used to room with John Moxley, which is just wild.
That makes sense, though.
I'm reading his ring names: Deuce, Dick Rick Lakis, El Hijo de Trump, Eli Drake, LA Knight, Max Dupree, Sean Ricker, and Sleek Randall.
I like Sleek Randall.
Sean Ricker's his actual name, isn't it?
Yeah, those are the names he's wrestled under.
And it's amazingly the douchiest one of all.
El Hijo de Trump?
Okay,
No.
that one does one.
No, El Hijo de Trump is still better than fucking LA Knight. I can't.
You don't like City of Angels Knight?
That's not his name.
What does LA stand for?
Is it like a CM Punk thing? You don't know?
Capital L period, capital A period. So you don't know. I don't think it's Los Angeles Knight.
Well, as far as WWE is concerned, it's just the letters L and A.
Yeah.
So it could be La Knight.
It's like Big E.
Oh, I just thought of the other line that he kept using. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
I listened to a minute and 15
Let me
seconds.
tell you something, brother.
Yeah, I listened to a minute and 15 seconds of him, and you're right. It is a perfect amalgam between the two of them.
Yep.
He kind of has also a little Van Damme look to him in that one picture.
Nice. So he's a sexy man. Great hips. Nice pecs.
He looks like an amalgam of Van Damme and Chuck Norris.
A little bit. I still think he
All
looks
American.
like...
I'm a fan.
I still think he's grown up Phineas.
That too.
We didn't go over what the show was going to be, but I'm assuming you're finishing with Forbidden Door, right?
Well, technically Money in the Bank because it was the closest one. Forbidden Door was a week ago. But the only other thing I have besides those results is the current amount of tickets that have been sold for All In at Wembley Stadium in London. They have currently sold 74,888 tickets, and they've announced no matches for this fucking thing yet. The current setup is 87,825, and the max capacity is 94,000.
Okay. So I think one thing that we know is going to happen just for the fact that they can make money off it. CM Punk's definitely going to wrestle. Right? Like, everybody knows that. And then you got to assume, just based on what their workload normally is, you're going to get Orange Cassidy in a match. And you're going to get Chris Jericho in a match. Right? Like, those three guys, you're like 99% sure you're going to see at least those three guys wrestle. And then you're probably going to get to see Moxley, too.
It'll be Jericho versus Sting, one-on-one.
So that's 4. Jericho versus Sting would be amazing. Ultimately,
it'll be
Kingston versus Moxley.
It depends what happens with him in the G1.
Yeah. Who with the G1?
Eddie.
Oh.
Also, he just won the Never Openweight Championship over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. But,
they're not going to put Mox on that show unless he's doing double duty because, like, I don't know, 2 fucking weeks later is All Out.
Yeah. Well, the other guy that, I don't know if you saw this interview, but the was it the post-Forbidden Door interview or if it was just another interview after it? But
Ospreay?
Will Ospreay wants in on that show because it's at fucking Wembley.
That match will happen. It'll be him and Omega, the third match.
Yeah.
And you should absolutely have Tony Storm versus Hayter because they're both big names over in England because that's where they came from.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But it'll be interesting to see what kind of card they put together for that and then manage to put together their other pay-per-view. I mean, Punk will absolutely wrestle. It's whether or not it'll be a singles match or a multi-person match. And what will be the match he wrestles on the pay-per-view the following weekend.
Right.
Like 2 weeks later. But good for them. And fuck everybody who said that they weren't going to sell a lot of tickets. And they did out the gate. And now they're close to selling.
What was like the gag? They weren't going to sell 30,000?
Yeah. That's what all the big people were saying. They're not going to sell more than 30,000. Just a reminder, it's close to 75,000 as of yesterday. Very close to selling out that fucking arena. Or stadium.
Which is what, 90?
94. 94's max capacity. I don't know if 94,000 is achievable with a ring and all the setup.
Yeah.
So even at 87,000 is the current max. The entire upper deck is now open and full because they've sold that many tickets. It's good. Good for them. Good for wrestling.
Yeah.
All right. Results time. As Kyle mentioned. AEW New Japan Forbidden Door 2 happened 2 weeks ago. And the night started like this. The Mogul Embassy versus Chaos. Shane Strickland, Khan Leona, and Brian Cage took on Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Desperado in a big 8-man tag match to get the action going. The Mogul Embassy scored the win when Swerve hit a double stomp on Romero. Solid opening match for the pre-show. Next up was Billy Starks versus Athena. It was a Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament match. Athena took the win. Another solid opener.
I heard that was like one of the worst matches of the whole night, though.
It was a good match, but probably.
Yeah, like it was not good enough to be on the main card, is what I heard.
Yeah, that's fair, considering everything that happened on the main card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up was Stu Grayson versus El Phantasmo. El Phantasmo picking up the win. This was kind of on par with that last match. Nothing, like, shockingly good. But I don't think anything too terrible.
I think probably of all the matches that were announced ahead of time, the one that was least interesting to me. Just because Stu's been off TV for so long.
Yeah. In the final pre-show match, it was the United Empire versus Los Ingobernables de Chabón. Kyle Fletcher, TJP, and Jeff Cobb represented the United Empire against LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi in the final pre-show match. The LIJ defeated the United Empire. So that's cool. The main show started with MJF versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. MJF went to Tony Khan and requested that his match against Tanahashi go on first so he could get out of Toronto as fast as possible, so the AEW World Title bout kicked off the main show.
You know, I usually don't agree with the concept of starting a show with the belt, but when it's written like that, that's pretty beautiful.
It was solid. It was a solid match for what it was. And true to his word, shortly after this match, MJF posted a video of him walking through the airport on Twitter. And he's like, "I'm out of here, fuck Canada."
Did you see the thing where I don't remember if you shared it or if I just saw it on Twitter, where he preset a tweet for the fact that he won the match?
Yes, I shared it to you.
Well, he's incredible.
He's the best.
Plus, I don't know if we're gonna get into this, but everything that's going on now, him and Adam Cole, just like, dude, everything this guy touches is wonderful.
Well, let's segue real quick.
Yeah.
So Adam Cole, so they're doing one of the blind tag team tournament things where they're just mix matching people to be partners. And it just so happens, fresh off of their match and Adam Cole wanting a rematch because they went to the time limit for the world title, they matched MJF with Adam Cole. And the shit that they've been doing is incredible. Not just on the show, because, MJF had their own t-shirt made already on Pro Wrestling Tees. What the fuck is the name of their team?
Bebe?
I think it's better than you, baby. And it's on the shirt. And then he keeps calling him like Brochacho and shit. Adam Cole streams his video game playing and stuff, you know, like many people do. And MJF has been calling in and emailing him during it, asking questions and shit.
So, there's two things that I love about this. One, it's like shades of when Reynolds and Silver were trying to recruit Adam Cole into the Dark Order on being the Elite.
Yeah.
But it also very much makes me think of like how Justin would be when he's pretending to want to be somebody's friend. Like, hey, buddy, you want to go hang out? I really respect the fact that you pretended to be sick so that you didn't have to show up to work. I wish I could have did the same thing. Let's go cruise around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But
yeah, so MJF pre-setting the tweet and then tweeting himself fucking leaving Canada was fucking top notch.
Yeah. 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 So, how much time, since we have like a little bit of a low right now, how much time realistically do you think Tanahashi has left?
As what?
As a, well, because he still works pretty frequently.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
like,
he's always going
a
to
regular worker.
Not long.
Right. So I feel like this was kind of like, because obviously MJF being MJF, like, whatever the fuck he's going to say with the cameras on, right? Obviously, you know this is a match that is a dream match for him.
Sure.
So, right, as it was for Moxley and every other fucking person who's wrestled Tanahashi in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, but like, he may never have gotten this chance again if he didn't get it on this show.
Probably not.
Right. And there's plenty of other people that, you know, he probably also has dream matches with that are definitely younger, and realistically, he has more chances to wrestle in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see... I mean, Tanahashi's going to probably continue to wrestle for as long as he can. But, yeah, full-time-wise, that's not going to be...
Like, I'd be very surprised if at Forbidden Door 3, probably next year, if MJF isn't wrestling Okada.
Sure.
Just because he's talked so much shit in the past about New Japan, and the fact that, like, is Okada even still the champion when Okada was the champion? Like, all this other stuff. Yeah. They're building up a lot of history for that match in the future.
Next up was a men's Owen Hart Cup tournament match. CM Punk battles Satoshi Kojima. Punk got booed, which was going to happen. Punk won.
Yeah. I heard this match was good.
It was good.
But obviously not the match most people wanted at a Forbidden Door.
Oh, that's because Kenta pulled out at the last minute.
It was supposed to be Kenta?
Yes, it was supposed to be Punk versus Kenta in the Owen Hart match.
I don't know if I believe that.
No, it was confirmed. And then Kenta pulled last minute. He's like, no.
That sucks.
Next was Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia versus Katsuya Shibata versus Zack Sabre Jr. in, yes, good. It was, oh. If there was a match to stroke it to. Orange Cassidy pulling off the win here. Then next up was Sonata versus Jack Perry. Sonata beat Perry. And then Hook would come out. And then I think that's when he clotheslined Hook.
Yeah.
And the crowd was like, my God.
Yeah. I think he is, I think he might be the closest thing to what Roman Reigns or like Rocky Maivia were. Where like they were trying to push him so hard as a face.
Yeah.
And it just like he needed to turn heel in order to be likable.
I mean, marketable, I think is the word. If he's heel, we don't want him to be likable.
I guess. He's still going to be more likable as heel.
Sure. Next up was Team Elite versus Team BCC. The Elite featuring Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, and Konosuke Takeshita. Yes, this was a good match. Yes, it was violent.
I wish I guess they didn't really have another way to market it, but it annoys me that they marketed this match the way they did when three of the people in it aren't part of either stable.
Well, how they worked it out, though, was we knew Daniel Bryan was headlining this fucking show. So
right.
he was not going to be available.
Right.
We know that Shota Umino, it was Moxley's young boy. And we know that Takeshita turned on the Elite. So their story makes sense. Them pulling Eddie Kingston out of nowhere to try to like join the Elite, because we know Kenny was also going to be in a very important high-profile match. That was a little grasping for straws for me. And then just Kingston being like, it's Ishii is our other partner because we need a New Japan guy and he's not busy.
So it makes sense because Kingston had a great match with him previously.
Sure. But their combo with the Elite doesn't,
Right.
Yes, man.
So I asked my buddy about LA Knight. He posted a clip and I listened to it. And he just sounds like the PG version of Stone Cold at the end. It's when he says, yeah. When he's talking, not really, but at the end he just goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. He looks like PC Principal.
He does look like PC Principal.
And he just minuses oh hell and just says, yeah. And I can see what you mean with The Rock, too. He's trying. I guess they don't have much going on. Good luck, kids. My buddy said also he's second to The Miz with the mic.
Yeah, like, he is good on the mic. I will give him that.
Yeah.
What's his finisher? The People's Knee?
What is his finisher?
I don't want to tell you because it's like...
No, you gotta say it.
Is it the Stone Cold Rock Bottom?
I don't know. I don't know if it still is his finisher, but it used to be basically. It used to be like an RKO, but he fell forward like face first with the guy instead of falling on his back. He'd fall forward face first.
A reverse stunner.
Like a bulldog? Kind of like a bulldog DDT?
Like if you held the guy's head as if it was like a stunner or an RKO, but instead of falling either on your ass or like flat back, you fall on your stomach when you deliver the move.
So like an inverted suplex?
Yeah, but the guy doesn't flip over you. He just falls with him, and they both fall in the same direction on their stomachs.
That looks more painful for the person giving the move.
Yeah. Hope he stopped that.
Yeah. Maybe the People's Knee.
Yeah. The public's knee.
Instead of doing this, he just does karate kicks.
Vinny asked,
finger guns.
Finger bangs. He finger bangs, and then he karate kicks each way, and then he runs on his hands.
Vinny asked his wrestling friend about LA Knight, and he sent him a clip, and Vin's like, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Next up, Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale. Well, Tony Storm wins. Very good match. I enjoy Willow Nightingale a lot.
Willow Knight, is she related to LA Knight?
Nightingale.
Nightingale.
Yes.
LA Nightingale.
So she's a hyphenate.
Well, it's one word.
Right.
She married into the Ingale family.
Ingales.
Right.
So yeah. After that was potentially what can go down as one of the top 5 greatest matches of all time. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay 2. Shit.
Is that the title of it? That's the name of the match?
Ooh, shit. Incredible. Dangerous. There's a spotter 4 in this match that could have probably been, eliminated for safety's sake, but goddamn. Will Ospreay won the match and the NJPW US Championship back. This match and the Daniel Bryan match are like 2 matches I tell everybody to go seek out and watch now that it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's free on the interweb somewhere.
Even if you don't want to watch the whole match, if you can just find the clip of the Tiger Driver,
Yeah.
that could have ended Kenny Omega's life.
Yeah, not career. Life.
Yeah, life.
Life.
That's sloppy, huh?
It looked that brutal.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a slip up, right? I think it was meant to be that brutal looking.
Yeah. Next up.
Up to this point, that's the only match where the title has changed hands, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up was Sting, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito versus Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. The crowd, of course, sang both Judas and Kaze ni Nare because it's the crowd. Sting, Darby Allin, and Naito would go on to win. Good match. Bryan Danielson versus Okada was the final match of the night, and it was everything you wanted it to be. And for a crowd that had been sitting there for a few hours, they came unglued when Danielson came out first to his old Ring of Honor music, the Final Countdown by Europe. I sent the clip to the group of the crowd fucking losing their shit.
I watched it.
It was definitely...
I loved it.
Oh, that was a one-time deal for that music, too, because I don't know, Kyle, if you heard how much that cost Tony for the one play, for the one night.
No.
$100,000.
To who?
Huh?
Damn. To the band?
Yeah.
The record label.
Yeah, the record
The
label.
band gets so good.
But if Danielson was previously using it in ROH, how did they get away with that?
See, funny. ROH never had an actual TV deal until post Bryan Danielson.
There you go.
Big difference maker.
Sure is. So that needle drop was worth it, though. Hell of a match. About 10 minutes into the match, Bryan Danielson broke his arm, but continued the match.
Legit broke it?
Oh, yeah. Bree posted the picture of the x-ray. It's a fucking clean fracture. Like, psh. And, Bryan Danielson's a fucking beast.
I mean, I'd like to think, given the circumstances of that match, we all would have finished it if we were him. Because he won, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so being booked to win against another guy who's billed as arguably the best wrestler of his generation. Like, I think globally, there's maybe only 3 or 4 other people that are in the same stratosphere in this generation of wrestlers as Okada and Danielson. So, like, the ability to have that match televised the first time and be booked to win it, like, I don't know what you would have had to do to him to make him not finish that match.
It was the modern day equivalent of what would have happened if they've got Austin and Goldberg in the ring at the same time at the peak of their popularity.
That is like, I understand what you're saying, but because you included Goldberg in it, such a terrible comparison.
I don't mean clearly athletically. I mean like height of popularity. That's what it's on par with.
Yeah.
Or Sting Undertaker at the height of their fucking powers.
Yes.
If that's better. I mean, none of the styles match up. Bryan Danielson's arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Jericho is a very close second.
But Justin being Justin would still draft Ric Flair over both of those guys.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you want to make sure you got a strong fucking heel. And if I can't get MJF, I go to his grandfather, Ric Flair.
You want a strong fucking heel, but you're not taking Danielson or Jericho.
Dominic Guerrero.
Or both
or Mysterio. Anyway, Money in the Bank. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight versus Santos Escobar versus Butch versus Damian Priest versus Logan Paul.
I actually haven't seen these results, so this is going to be interesting.
Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank.
Good.
Very. Would have rioted if it went the other way. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defended their titles versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. The match was fine, but the turn didn't really make sense. And the title. Okay. Baszler eventually had Morgan in the Kirifuda clutch, but Morgan escaped. Rousey tagged in after, but Baszler turned on Rousey, striking her from behind before putting her in the clutch and walking off, leaving Rousey to be finished off after Morgan hit her with Oblivion. Ronda Rousey is on the tail end of her deal. She's leaving the company shortly, and she wanted to go out up against her best friend in Shayna Baszler, so that's the program they're going to work into SummerSlam, and then that's the end for Ronda.
They're saying she might go back to MMA.
I mean, she took her ball and went home long enough. I'm sure she'll be alright.
Well, like, the division's kind of depleted. There's no names there, and they're thinking she can have a relatively easy path to victory if she so chooses, but why would you ever go back to that?
It's a better schedule for her, I guess. I don't know. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line as Gunther defended his title against Matt Riddle. A returning Drew McIntyre would drop Gunther with a Glasgow kiss after being shoved, then put Gunther down with a Claymore. McIntyre is back, but still no new contract. So, we'll see how that plays out. We had Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. Cody Rhodes defeated Dominic Mysterio, because of course he should. Good match there. John Cena made a surprise appearance, because John Cena can.
Was that a Make-A-Wish? Did an old man named Vince
It felt
show?
It felt like a Make-A-Wish because they were the Money in the Bank winners took pictures with John Cena. Oh, what's your name? Damian Priest? Oh, and what's yours? I can't tell you. We didn't get to that match yet.
By the way, I also YouTubed LA Knight's finisher.
Mm-hmm.
To be blunt, it's dumb.
Is it what I described, or is it something different?
Yeah, no, it's pretty much a DDT from here, from the stunner position. So he just, like, slams their head into the mat. And it's like, it's dumb.
Oh, and I just watched the highlights of the Hidden Door Ospreay Omega match. Did he drop him on his fucking head?
Yeah.
He dropped him on his fucking head.
Yeah, but not like. That's how that move goes.
But, like, let him go and drop him on his head. I've seen a lot of people do moves where it looks like people's craniums bounce off the mat. But no, his head hit first. I don't know how he didn't die there.
Yeah. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Zelina Vega versus Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark versus Bayley versus Io Sky versus Trish Stratus. The match would end with Bayley and Becky Lynch being handcuffed together in the bottom rung. And Io Sky then climbing the ladder, going over Bayley's back to win the match. So Io Sky is your women's Money in the Bank winner.
I'm pretty happy with those two winners.
Me too.
Your women's Money in the Bank winner.
Then the World Heavyweight Championship was on the line. The new title, the new world title, not Roman's title. Seth Rollins defended versus Finn Balor, and Seth won. Then Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa took on the Usos in the Bloodline Civil War. And it would be the Usos that were victorious, even getting the pin on Roman.
Which one's Captain America's side and which one's Iron Man?
Roman is Iron Man. Are we going by traditional comic book or are we going by the movie?
Well, they're both pretty close. As far as arrogance goes, which would you pick?
Okay, so Roman's Tony.
Okay.
And
I think Jay's a pretty good Captain America.
Jay's a good Cap, yeah.
Anyway.
And that was Money in the Bank.
Based on the results, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think Judgment Day is potentially nearing its end?
No, I just think that they're going to swap out JD McDonough for Damian Priest.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So you think my assumption is that Damian Priest is going to win. It's a complete waste if this doesn't happen, but he's going to beat Seth Rollins, right?
Priest?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I would think he has to.
Well, this is a company where we've said things like this, and they don't happen.
Well, I would say, like, but it's not going to be Roman. It's not going to beat Roman.
That's the thing, though. He could.
He's not. They're not going to let. What? It wouldn't make any sense for him to be the one to beat Roman.
One of the Usos gets a single shot against Roman. They take him to the limit. Roman's about to win, a la Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Out comes Damian Priest, hits Roman, easily takes out Jay, and then 1, 2, 3 wins the title.
The shit writes itself.
You're welcome.
Alright. So is that a show?
That's a wrestling show.
Alright, well then, as always, if you like what we hear, you can like us on Facebook.com/nerdities. Follow us on Twitter at Nerdities. Email us at nerditiesgmail.com and check out nerdities.com.
While you're there, amuse yourselves. Buy t-shirts. There's a new shop coming. You'll get your fucking hoodies. And if you don't buy them, I will come to every one of your fucking houses and proceed to take a hoodie and shove it down your throat and pull it out of your ass and use it like dental floss through your intestines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to every listener's house that doesn't buy a hoodie?
Yeah. Because they all complained about it.
That's expensive.
It's like a dozen listeners, Justin. How could you ever do that?
That counts certain individuals who are like the producer of this show.
I will be getting a hoodie, totally.
Yeah.
Joe.
I'm definitely getting a hoodie.
Is this your new character, Vinny? Ornery guy?
Yeah.
Ornery, I'll believe it when I see it guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I like it now. I'm an LA Knight guy.
See, that's what the crowd says. They're like, you know what? He's not trying to try, so I'm gonna try for him, and then we all love him. That's what happens.
That's not what the crowd says. The crowd says, L-A-9. Yeah.
If you want something sweet, at least sweeter than most of us, go to sinfulcreationsbyjustin.com. Order some treats. Indulge yourself. A good chunk of you got to have some of the new items, right? You guys had the s'mores cookies.
Yeah.
They're fucking good, right?
Damn skipping.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more cookie together.
Yeah.
How you not?
It's fucking delightful. Can't stop the rope drop spreadshop.com. Get fun Disney related t-shirts. Not the Bart Simpson Harry Potter mashup because Universal's a prick.
Universal is twats. I say it every time.
Otherwise, yeah, whatever.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Hit the bell to get notified when we're dropping new videos. New ones are coming. Follow us on Spotify, our new home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crowd, you know what they're saying? Nostalgia. I remember The Rock.
You remember The Rock?
I remember.
Oh, I remember Rock.
90s, early 2000s. Limp Bizkit.
I remember Jake the Snake.
Oh, I remember Jake the Snake. Remember Hulk Hogan? No, don't remember.
I remember Ultimate Warrior.
Oh.
Monday Night Wars. Something to live for. Monday Night Wars.
All right. On that note, fuck bye.
And why should I care? Drop.